This is our Grand Challenges project. We chose to focus on providing access to clean water. I'm Dylan Smith.
I'm Hudson Summer.
And I'm Chris Kial.
So our challenge statement, our solution is designed to address the lack of clean water that is accessible in sub-Saharan Africa. Our audience benefits by having better sanitation, less risk of waterborne illness, and children have more opportunity to become educated. These were issues that we found were very important, and that's part of the thing that got us to seeing that this was the grand challenge that we felt was the most important, because these are all very serious things, and so they felt near and dear to us. So our target audience is people in developing countries. Specifically, the group we looked at was people in sub-Saharan Africa, because of the dire need there. And even though we might see this problem in the United States, the level of need and issue is a lot higher there. And so these people endure many struggles that come from the lack of clean water, and a lot of these struggles really hinder their ability to be able to grow as people and be able to contribute to the rest of the world and be treated equally.
Alright, so some of the issues that people in sub-Saharan Africa face from having lack of clean water is 1 in 6 people living today do not have adequate access to living water or clean water, and double that lack of basic sanitation. Globally, at least 2 billion people use drinking water sources contaminated with feces, so that's a big problem, which can lead to diseases like chloria, diarrhea, dysentery, hepatitis A, typhoid, and polio. And lack of clean water is actually responsible for more deaths in the world than war. So that's why this is the most important challenge to us. Relation to the Engineering Grand Challenge, poor populations usually don't have access to clean water. This could be because the population is not near a water source, which is probably why it is below the poverty rate. However, the biggest reason is the population lacks the funds to afford the water treatment plants or general filtering systems for water. A huge part of providing clean water is treating that water, and if you cannot afford that, the illnesses and contamination is more likely to happen. So our proposed solution, the first part of our solution would be to build desalination plants in highly populated areas, starting off near the coast of sub-Saharan Africa. This will create a large amounts of safe drinking water for the people to drink and use every day. The second part of our solution would then be implementing drip irrigation into agriculture in these areas, which will help keep more water available for consumption and sanitation, because right now most of the clean water gets used for agriculture.
So basically it's just more in-depth look at our solution of desalination. Desalination is the process of removing salt water and other organisms from the seawater so that the water can be safe and be used for things like drinking and sanitation and everything like that. And then these are a look at how the plants operate and what they look like once we implement them. And then the second part of our solution, drip irrigation, is basically using as little water as possible to still get enough to where agriculture is successful, instead of having to just flood it and using excess water that you don't need to be using. And so these are different ways that it can be implemented into their agriculture, and we feel like that's really important because 90% of people in sub-Saharan Africa rely on agriculture as their main source of income. So it'd be a way for them to still have successful agriculture while also not using as much water as they previously used, so they can put it in different areas. And then the next steps for our solution would be, obviously desalination is really expensive, and so we want to find a way, we hope to find a way to make it to where it can be more affordable and you can put it in place in more areas because it's effective. It's just hard to put because of the cost. And then also we're also thinking that it would help even more if we could find a way to make desalination plants produce energy in some way. So those were the things that we could look for in the future for that. And then we just have all of our sources. Thank you.